All right. Let me move on to something else because
All
last
right.
year, in an interview with Nigel Clark, former finance minister, on his last day as finance minister, I'd asked him
Uh-huh.
about the SSL case, and
Yes.
this is what he said. Let's listen in.
What I've not been satisfied with is the pace at which that has moved. Yeah, that and the people of Jamaica don't differentiate. I am the person in the public light. I'm in the public domain, but I'm not responsible for all parts of the process. We have investigators, we have police, we have a DPP, we have courts, and all of those are independent authorities that I can't instruct. And I'm just, I'm not, this is not a criticism, but this is just my heart. I have one opportunity now just to pour out my heart. And I feel hurt and disappointed, that I've, put that effort in, taking major risk, right, in getting forensic auditors from the United Kingdom to do a massive investigation. That file has been put to the DPP from late 2023, and nothing has kind of come of it. And people are looking and wondering, hey, what's going on? I've done my part.
And of course, that was former Finance Minister Nigel Clark speaking to me on all angles. And of course, from time to time, we see Usain Bolt tweet some of his characteristic trademark cryptic tweets with things like, for instance, the amount of money that was defrauded from him and, expressing impatience with the pace of the negotiation. I see my colleague and friend at the Gleaner, Jovan Johnson, got to you first on this DPP. So bad minding him a little bit, but I'm still gonna be asking you in terms of what's happening there.
Well, first of all, having listened to what Mr. Clark had to say, it's just so unfortunate that he didn't avail himself of speaking to us directly to find out exactly our side of it. Because I don't know who he got his information from, but we are aware as a DPP's office that perhaps due to an excess of enthusiasm or youthful exuberance, some of the investigators perhaps may have had some element of amnesia when they have been advising members of the public or even Mr. Clark as to what has been happening. In terms of the update that I received, there was a letter dated October 23rd, 2024 from my office. And remember, our SSL task force is headed by a deputy DPP who is in charge of our mutual legal assistance and financial crimes unit. You have 4 lawyers. It is an extremely voluminous exercise, and we sent a letter indicating all of the matters that were outstanding, that were required. It seems, and I'm going to say it quite clearly here, that there are some investigators or some persons there who thought that by waving a magic wand and just speaking it into being, they thought they had enough so that they could go before the court. But since we are the ones who are saddled with prosecuting cases of this nature to the requisite standard of beyond a reasonable doubt, and we are not into this thing to get a sound bite, we have to make sure, especially in a complex matter like this, that we have adequate information. And what I was informed now, I'm looking at it, by letter dated December 30th from the FID, they answered the 12 points that we had sent to them about an update on the status of the 12 outstanding materials. Now, there is one that is absolutely critical. And what I've been made to understand, because I decided to drill down so that I had been in the best position to respond to you, that we have been made aware that the investigators have had to go through hundreds of boxes of material from SSL to find the particular documentation. That is critical. We at the Office of the DPP have already prepared, well, my team has prepared a draft legal opinion with some 40 pages waiting for my sign-off. But they know how detailed and thorough I am. And they are also detailed and thorough. So there is a yawning gap, legally speaking, in the opinion that can only be covered by getting the critical documentation and report from the SID. And that is what we are waiting on. When they get that, then they will be able to properly complete the legal opinion of some 40-odd pages. They give it to me, and I can undertake that, having spent 40 years as a prosecutor and 16 as DPP, it's a question of case consultation. The five of us sit down, we go through everything, and hopefully overnight, by the next day, then a ruling will be had. But we will not die on the altar of expediency in order to give others a soundbite. We must be thorough. We answer to the public interest. And this is a complex matter. In fact, my deputy told me, and I said she's in charge of mutual legal assistance and financial crimes for the office, that they went ahead and did some research in the USA in terms of matters of a similar nature. And they found that the average in some areas is 5 years from the time the offense is committed to the time that it goes to court, given the level of thoroughness that is required. There for breach of any of the environmental legislation will be taken over and prosecuted by a senior officer of the office of the DPP.
All right. Let me move on to something else, because last year in an interview with Nigel Clark, former finance minister, on his last day as finance minister, I'd asked him about the SSL case, and this is what he said. Let's listen in.
What I've not been satisfied with is the pace at which that has moved. Yeah, that, and the people of Jamaica don't differentiate. I am the person in the public light. I'm in the public domain, but I'm not responsible for all parts of the process. We have investigators, we have police, we have a DPP, we have courts, and all of those are independent authorities that I can't instruct. And I'm just, this is not a criticism, but this is just my heart. I have one opportunity now just to pour out my heart, and I feel hurt and disappointed, that I've, put that effort in, taking major risk, right, in getting forensic auditors from the United Kingdom to do a massive investigation. That file has been put to the DPP from late 2023, and nothing else kind of come of it. And people are looking and wondering, hey, what's going on? I've done my part.
And of course, that was former Finance Minister Nigel Clark speaking to me on all angles. And of course, from time to time, we see Usain Bolt tweet some of his characteristic trademark cryptic tweets with things like, for instance, the amount of money that was defrauded from him, and expressing impatience with the pace of the negotiation. I see my colleague and friend at the Gleaner, Jovan Johnson, got to you first on this DPP. So bad minding him a little bit, but I'm still going to be asking you in terms of what's happening there.
Well, first of all, having listened to what Mr. Clark had to say, it's just so unfortunate that he didn't avail himself of speaking to us directly to find out exactly our side of it. Because I don't know who he got his information from, but we are aware as a DPP's office that perhaps due to an excess of enthusiasm or youthful exuberance, some of the investigators perhaps may have had some element of amnesia when they have been advising members of the public or even Mr. Clark as to what has been happening. In terms of the update that I received, there was a letter dated October 23rd, 2024 from my office. And remember, our SSL task force is headed by a deputy DPP who is in charge of our mutual legal assistance and financial crimes unit. You have 4 lawyers. It is an extremely voluminous exercise, and we sent a letter indicating all of the matters that were outstanding, that were required. It seems, and I'm going to say it quite clearly here, that there are some investigators or some persons there who thought that by waving a magic wand and just speaking it into being, they thought they had enough so that they could go before the court. But since we are the ones who are saddled with prosecuting cases of this nature to the requisite standing of beyond a reasonable doubt, and we are not into this thing to get a sound bite, we have to make sure, especially in a complex matter like this, that we have adequate information. And what I was informed now, I'm looking at it, by letter dated December 30th from the FID, they answered the 12 points that we had sent to them about an update on the status of the 12 outstanding materials. Now, there is one that is absolutely critical. And what I've been made to understand, because I decided to drill down so that I had been in the best position to respond to you, that we have been made aware that the investigators have had to go through hundreds of boxes of material from SSL to find the particular documentation. That is critical. We at the Office of the DPP have already prepared, well, my team has prepared a draft legal opinion with some 40 pages waiting for my sign-off. But they know how detailed and thorough I am. And they are also detailed and thorough. So there is a yawning gap, legally speaking, in the opinion that can only be covered by getting the critical documentation and report from the FID. And that is what we are waiting on. When they get that, then they will be able to properly complete the legal opinion of some 40 odd pages. They give it to me, and I can undertake that, having spent 40 years as a prosecutor and 16 as DPP, it's a question of case consultation. The 5 of us sit down, we go through everything, and hopefully overnight, by the next day, then a ruling will be had. But we will not die on the altar of expediency in order to give others a soundbite. We must be thorough. We answer to the public interest. And this is a complex matter. In fact, my deputy told me, and I said she's in charge of mutual legal assistance and financial crimes for the office, that they went ahead and did some research in the USA in terms of matters of a similar nature. And they found that the average in some areas is 5 years from the time the offense is committed to the time that it goes to court, given the level of thoroughness that is required.
Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the ways of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. You're not hearing any sound? Let me start again. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the ways of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law do we meditate day and night. For we shall be like trees planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth fruit in our season. Our leaves shall not wither, and whatsoever we do shall prosper. Welcome, welcome to Portland Spice TV for yet another Tuesday night. Yeah, man. The Collin Bell Show. And I want to welcome all of the people who joined early, because we had some things that we wanted to touch on from Saturday morning. But tonight is a big show night. Tonight we're going to be having, that one, Council. Go back the other way. Yes, that is it. That is it. We had some things that we wanted to touch on Saturday. We never get a chance to. But tonight, we're going to have with us the councillor from down at Clarendon there. Senior councillor, Councillor Cian Barneswell. And we expect to have Councillor Hubert Williams from over St. Thomas as well. A whole heap of things to talk about. A whole heap of things. But there is trouble in the GLP camp all about. And you see, there's a saying that says when you not dig hole, you must dig two and all three too. Yeah? I saw something in the Parliament today. I don't know if Councillor Barneswell saw it. I can bring him on, but I'm going to touch it before I start talking to him. Councillor, good evening.
Hi, Collin, how you doing? Good evening, man. Good evening to your viewers.
Man, and welcome. We expect Councillor Hubert Lawrence to join us later. But Councillor, I saw something in the Parliament today. And I don't know, were you watching Parliament today?
No, I missed it today at a committee meet at the council, so I was out. I was there out of sight of a television, so I didn't get a chance to view it.
So before we talk about ALGAJ and what is happening in the Clarendon Municipal Corporation, look at this.
To probably prioritizing other roads that have been worse damaged as a result of the rain, rather than going with what obtained a year ago when we did the consultation. Remember, you haven't heard one thing I say, you know. Remember, I would prefer if you would give me the respect to listen to what I'm saying. It's a major point for me.
I want to bring it back.
Finally, Mr. Speaker, I want to raise to the attention of the Minister and the NWA. Portland has been receiving rain consistently from before Beryl.
Member. Yes, I turned the mic off.
They cut off the man
you're
mic.
making a presentation and not question. So please, get to the question.
You're not yet. That's one.
Please. Yeah. Thank you very much. Just to say that the scoping of the SPARK program, and this is a question that was done months ago, has been thoroughly interfered with by weather events. And therefore, I'm asking whether or not we can look and discuss with the NWA the current situation in relation to probably prioritizing other roads that have been worse damaged as a result of the rain, rather than going with what obtained a year ago when we did the consultation. Remember, you haven't heard one thing I say, you know. Remember, I would prefer if you would give me the respect to listen to what I'm saying. It's a major point for me. And I'm saying, I'll repeat it again, that the scoping of the roads for SPARK with the weather events.
That's two. Here three. Here come number three.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker. I must say, Mr. Speaker, that I'm very disturbed and grieved.
That's Warmington.
It is totally out of character for a minister to speak on a statement of another minister. I have never seen this in the umpteen years I've been here. Totally breach of protocol for a minister to ask next minister a question in Parliament or to speak on the issue of another minister. Totally unacceptable and breach of protocol.
Minister Morgan, do you wish to respond?
You're the response now, because I think the response
will own him too. Those important points. And I want to say that to all members of the House, all 63 of of you. Natalie, I want to say to all 63 members that I've always had an open door policy. I've always encouraged communications from the National Works Agency and all the agencies that I oversee as minister.
Councillor, what do you think of that?
It's embarrassing. I mean, they're cabinet ministers and they're in parliament now asking questions. It simply means they're not even sure what is happening with the Spark program. Maybe it wasn't even discussed at cabinet, because if it was discussed at cabinet, there's no way that minister from West Portland would have been in the parliament questioning the minister with the responsibility for works. So it's unprecedented.
And that's what Warmington say. Him never says this yet.
Yeah, it's unprecedented.
But even that is unprecedented.
Mm-hmm.
Because you'd expect Warming to wait after the meeting and say, brother, and also the thing go. But he embarrassed the man. In the sight of the public, because it's been viewed by everybody. Embarrass the man on live TV.
Yes, they're tripping over each other. So you tell that things is not right in their camp.
And then if you listen to the minister's response, him give a general response, all 63 of you, I have an open door.
Yeah. But
you heard Vaz calling to him, so obviously Vaz see that the minister need to pay him no mind.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. You need to listen.
Minister, you know, listen to me.
Yeah, you need to listen to me. Important points me I raise.
Massa.
But the Spark program though, because it's far down the wicket, you know. They publish all the roads that they have agreed on I'm not sure if it's all 63 constituencies, but I think my memory serves me right. Yes, it was. Because in Southeast Clarendon, they would have published, they have a website, and they would have published those roads.
What they did today is order paper 1, 21 constituencies. They announced 2 roads.
Wow.
For 2 roads in each constituency for 21 constituencies. So maybe next week, in another 2 weeks, they are going to name another 2 roads for each of the another 21, and then 2 weeks after. So by April, they're going to name each constituency getting 2 of their priority roads.
Oh, so it's out of the 10 roads which they had listed on their website, is only 2 will be done in this financial phase.
Between this financial and next financial year.
But that don't make no sense.
No, go nowhere.
That is joke.
Remember, you know, they cut the capital budget by $19 billion. So all the things that they might talk about not going to happen.
Not going to happen. And then they have the REACH program where they plan to spend a much million just the same. And that not start. So it's a joke. It's a PR stunt. They're pulling with the people of this country.
And obviously, if you watch Darrell Vaz's entire presentation, you would see that he's not pleased.
And I think that is why he's not raising it here in the parliament.
Exactly. And he was also taking time. And as you heard the speaker cut him mic, you know.
Yes.
The speaker cut him mic. No, this don't look good.
No. Your colleague cut your mic. A minister talking and
mic. The minister is question time and you're making a statement.
Yeah.
But he was also saying, because they announced a bridge program, and the Craig Mill Bridge where the truck dropped through, never in that. So he might take it upon himself to say to the people of West Portland, the Craig Mill Bridge in a one different program.
PR stunt again.
Something all right, Sian.
Yeah. The cracks have now been quite vivid, eh?
We come back to film business. Let's talk about a little about ALGAJ and what happened down there in Mandeville on Friday. It was?
Yes, Friday last, yes.
Yes. Tell us, before we go into what happened Friday, explain to my listeners and my viewers, what is ALGAJ?
All right, so the Association of Local Government Authorities of Jamaica. It's a body that speaks about the welfare of all councillors. It speaks about councillors being members of this association. It also speaks about local authorities, which means all the municipal corporations, because we're all doing the same kind of operation and function. So ALGAJ really speaks, as I said, the welfare of councillors in terms of salary, in terms of health care, in terms of issues that affect them in their respective divisions. They lobby, they advocate for better governance with government agencies, NGOs, which is non-government organization. And it also have a constitution that guides it, and which we must be adhered to. So this annual general meeting should be held every year as stipulated by the constitution. The last time we met was 2017. The last annual general meeting was 2017. So from the People's National Party caucus has been writing to the president, asking for this annual general meeting to be held. They keep postponing it until it reach 8 years, and which he can no longer go beyond. Because
so that means it ceased being an annual general meeting.
It ceased, right. So they're operating legally because the act said that every executive members should only serve 2 years or 2 terms, because every year. And they have been there for 8 years. So they were really illegal in terms of the position they occupy. Nevertheless, they managed to get them to agree to have an annual general meeting set for the 31st of January, which was last week, Friday. And this was to be held at the Gulfview Hotel in Mandeville. So we all were prepared for this meeting because it's long overdue. Yes. We have quite a few new councillors being elected in February of 2026 of this year. Sorry, of last year, sorry. So, it's an opportunity for them to understand more about ALGAJ, what it's all about, and why they need to pay what is called an obligation fee of $500.
So should we take it that ALGAJ is like a union?
Yes, it's like a union. It's like a union.
Right.
Right. So, and then the municipal corporations, Alison, you're getting noisy. The municipal corporations would have paid, I don't remember, they pay annual subscriptions for each councillor. I think is it $10,000 per councillor per year? Yes, I think it's $10,000 per councillor per year.
And the municipal corporation pays that?
The municipal corporation, that's called a subscription fee. By
the councillor pays, you say $500 a month?
Yes, obligation for $500. It's not a must that you have to pay it, but it's something which we encourage councillors to pay. So we were at the meeting, and when I got there, I realized that there was a full contingent of JLP councillors, including Mayor Bell Navis, with signs of bandage on his head and bandage on his hands. I was a bit taken back. I was like, whoa, you're all that well ready to be out here, which was good anyway. So we had some juice and water and mingle around for a bit, and the meeting started 2 minutes after 10.
So the meeting start on time?
Yes, well, it's scheduled to start at 10, but it started 2 minutes after 10. So it started on time. So the outgoing president, Councillor Winston Maraj, who was the person chairing the meeting, started the meeting by asking someone to offer prayer. Then he asked that the host mayor, which is Councillor Donovan Mitchell, who's the mayor for Mandeville, to bring greetings. He wasn't there at the time. So he just went straight into presentation of his report, the president's report. And then he said, Tate has read, and everybody said yes. And then he said the financial report. And then he said, Tate has read, and everybody said yes.
Everybody said yes?
Yeah, man, the JLP who were there in their numbers.
Is crowd say yes?
Right. All said yes. And I said, but Chairman, you can't just rush the meeting. We have not met since 2019. And it would be good if we could have 2017, sorry. And it would be good if we could at least have some discussion first on your report and the financial report, because looking at what we have before us is only 1 year of financial statement, which is 2023, 2024. So there are 7 years of missing financial report. There's no audit report, and this is an annual general meeting of the association. So at least we need to have more discussion about the status, the financial status of the organization. Give me a second.
So we're talking to Councillor Sian Barneswell and the MP candidate down there in Clarendon. And we're talking about that ALGAJ meeting that was held on Friday that had to be abandoned because of protocol not being observed. Not sure if a caucus was in place before the thing started, and all kind of problem. We also expect to be joined by Councillor Hubert Lawrence and former Mayor of St. Thomas. We are rejoined by Councillor Barneswell.
Right. Thanks. Sorry about that.
Yeah, man, that's all right.
All right. So we so when I raised that to the mayor, I said, but mayor, you started the meeting, you have gone all the way. No discussion on the finances of the association. Your report that you tabled, we need to ask some questions because there are some missing information. And he said, no, man, everything good. I said, but Mayor, do we have a quorum? Because the business of the business that governs that meeting tells that first to establish a quorum, which is 1/3 of its members. Its member is 228. The membership is 228 councillors. And you need 1/3 before you can start a meeting. That wasn't established. We didn't have a recording secretary because that wasn't also established either.
You didn't have a recording secretary?
No recording secretary. But
at an AGM?
For an AGM. And then we didn't have, the agenda should have been circulated 5 days before the event. And we all saw the agenda on the day of the event. So I said, but President, you can't go on with this thing or with them thing being breach of how the business of the meeting should be held. First, let us backtrack. Ask the membership to at least approve the agenda. If there's an omission or addition, if there's a no, then we approve the agenda, we move on. Him said, no, man, the agenda is good, man. Everybody's here, man. We said, we have a quorum. I said, what's a quorum? The quorum is here, man. Look down the bottom, the registration is there. So he wasn't even interested in entertaining, the guidance that I was given to him because I'm a past ALGA president. Yes. I was there for 4 years. So I was trying
4 years as the president of ALGA.
Yes, I did, 2012 to 2017. So I said to him, but Mayor, you've reached all the way now. I hear you asking for suspension of the standing order to have election of officers. But how could you do that when you have 7 missing years of financial statement, no audit report, and you're saying taken as read, no discussion, no debate on it? It can't be. And I point out to him in the Constitution what sets out in there, and that he should, observe and adhere to it. But the EC, he realized that he has the numbers. He was using his numbers to bully in getting.
So your members were late, his members were early. So get the election out of the way, and they will take over the leadership of the organization.
Right. So we start at 10:02, and by 10:12. He was now having election of officers, which was scheduled for 11 o'clock. So you see the speed that he was in.
Yes.
So I said to him, but President, you can't do this. And the thing, the other councillors from the PNP side that was there become aware of what was happening, and they start to lend their voice to it to say, no, you cannot go that far or have some question to ask about the finances because we have not met since 2017, and it's the first time we are meeting. We have some new councillors here. We need to know about the finance. They were just highlighting the different challenges that the organization have. I want to ask some question about it.
Right.
And I said to him, but if you continue, President, you're going to bring the thing into disrepute, and which he did. He insisted to ask persons, to nominate persons for the different position, and the meeting descended into chaos, and that's what happened. It ended abruptly.
So where do we go from here?
All right, based again on the executive has the right now to have a meeting, which I expect they should have this week or next week, the soonest, and plan a new date for the AGM to be held.
But Councillor Barneswell, why weren't our councillors on time? We have more councillors than them in the country. Yes.
We are 116, and they are at.
We are at 117, I think.
No, 116. 116, and they were at 112, but 2 died. 1 resigned, so that would bring it to 109.
Right, and we have 116.
But
right. At 10:12, they had more councillors in the venue than us.
Look, it seems that they slept there from the night before.
Well, I heard Councillor Bell Nevis on an interview with Dean Jackson Milan. Him say him left him out from 6 o'clock in the morning.
I think there's some of them slept there from the night before because they were like 4, 5, maybe 6 mayors. The Trelawney, the Falmouth mayor was there. The mayor from Maypen was there. Bell Nevis was there. The St. James mayor was there. Who else? I don't remember seeing anyone from Black River. I don't remember seeing anyone from Black River. But they were there in their numbers.
So they had a plan.
Yes, they did. They did. And they well, just like any politician would execute that plan. But the error that they made is that ALGAJ is not a partisan organization. It's a political one, but not partisan, meaning that anything affects one councillor, affects all councillors. Right.
Because so when they were to ask you, what is the importance of the leadership of ALGAJ?
Well, what it does, what the importance of leadership of ALGAJ is to work closely with the different government agencies, and it also gives the Ministry of Local Government a kind of conduit to get the message across to the different municipal corporations and councillors. So it's really a vehicle that advocates, that seeks partnership, and that promotes local government.
So is it a situation where central government wanted the GLP to maintain the leadership of ALGAJ, hence the effort that they were making?
I think so. I think they really want to still have ALGAJ under their control, and that is why this effort was being put forward for them to be out there in their numbers. I think at 15 minutes to 10, there were maybe 60 of them there in the room.
Wow.
60 of them in the room. And the challenge is that the councillors who came late had, there were two other events happening at Gulfview. Rada was having an event there, and there was a church group having an event there. Naturally, when there's no activity or just maybe one event, there's a parking issue. So having three large events at the same venue, persons had to park some distance away and had to walk. So that was some challenges for them to find parking. So we'll spend like 20, 30, 40 minutes trying to find a parking. You're already late at 10, 30, 11 o'clock. Spend another half an hour finding parking, get to the venue like 12 o'clock. So that was an issue that the members had getting there on time. I think they underestimate the travel time to get to the venue, because there are some changes with the traffic flow in Mandeville, and that too would have some of them missing their turn and having some confusion finding the location.
Yeah.
But it's not an excuse for them to be late.
So what is the plan? Is the PNP interested in taking over the leadership of ALGAJ? Is that something that the PNP wants?
The PNP councillors, and let me not say PNP councillors in general from across the political divide, has been saying, and recently, and this is getting louder, that they think it will be good, ALGAJ will be better served if it has a opposition president or somebody from the opposition side being the president of the association, because that way the person better able to champion the cause affecting councillors or impacting on councillors. And they think that with the outgoing president, Councillor Mara, didn't represent them well, because he was either too timid in speaking to the Minister of Local Government or too partisan in how he really approached certain situations that impacts on councillors.
That clothes is advocacy.
That's correct. So the membership now, and I use the word membership because ALGAJ represent both PNP and JLP councillors. So that was the view that they were, the members were saying. And there wasn't anybody at one stage, I learned, that was offering themselves for presidency. And not to be sure what happened on the day, if there was somebody to be nominated on the day. But just like an election, you have to be prepared.
But you were offering yourself to be the president again?
Yes, I was. Yes. I was an aspirant for the presidency.
So are there plans in place for the next meeting to ensure that what happened this time don't happen that time?
Yes, there's plan in place to make sure that what happened on Friday does not repeat itself, and there's consequences too for persons who treat it lightly, for persons who are nonchalant about it. There are consequences. That's all I can say.
All right, let's move on to the Clarendon Municipal Corporation. We won the In and Town division, thus evening the amount of councillors, 11 for the PNP, 11 for the GLP in the Clarendon Municipal Corporation. The popular vote is with the PNP, but the mayor is with the GLP and also the deputy mayor. What it is that you are asking for, or should I say the PNP councillors in the Clarendon Municipal Corporation, what is it that you're asking for?
Well, what we're asking for is for us, the PNP, to be at the decision-making table. And what we're asking for is that for the mayor or the deputy mayor position, well, we're asking for the mayor position to be that of the PNP, controlled by the PNP, because that's what happened in the past in 2003. Where the PNP had majority or popular votes, they got the mayor, we got the deputy mayor. So we expect that that will happen this time around. We're asking for the chairmanship of the subcommittees be balanced. In other words, the GLP control.
Hold on, you say you're asking for the PNP to get the mayor?
Yes, that's what we're asking for.
And the GLP because to have the deputy mayor.
And they would have the deputy mayor.
But Councillor Barneswell, they're not budging.
No, they're not. And I must say to you that it's my third attempt in getting Councillor Williams to at least have a conversation with me. I've asked him in privately, I've asked him with witnesses, and I've asked him again one-on-one, and his very quiet response, oh, yes, man, we will meet next week. Oh, we can meet on Wednesday. And that Wednesday never comes. But as I gave notice at the meeting that we intend to still have that conversation. He said we should have it in private, and I tried to have it behind closed door, but he still refused to have that conversation. So I have to have it in the full view of the public. And I think next week, Thursday, we'll be having that conversation, whether he likes it or not. But we must have that conversation because the people of Clarendon deserve better than what they're presently having.
2 council meetings so far has been interrupted. So since that Ian Town by-election, the Clarendon Municipal Corporation has not been able to really meet to deal with the people's business. You are saying that Thursday coming is going to be what? First Thursday? Is it second first Thursday is your meeting or second Thursday?
Next week Thursday, second Thursday. That's what I meant.
So next week Thursday is going to be the meeting, the public session of the Clarendon Municipal Corporation. But how is it that you are going to ensure that this discussion is had then?
All right. There are 2 ways to achieve it. One, we can look at the agenda to see what the other paper is like, if there's the item there on the other paper. 2, we can also write to the chairman asking for that item to be on the other paper or the agenda for Thursday, so we can have that conversation. And a third one just come to mind. We can also ask for a suspension of the standing order, so we can bring that matter up for discussion. But I mentioned about the people's business not being happening. The subcommittee, because we didn't really meet at full council meeting, but the subcommittees do meet. So we have the planning, the roads and works, the finance, the HR, which is human resource committee, the poor relief committees. Those committees still meet. It's not being disrupted.
But you are still not comfortable with who is chairing those committees.
Right. And you make mention of the new Indian Town Councillor, because he should have now been and be a member on some of these committees. And for that to happen, it will require a motion move before full council asking for him to be members of some subcommittees. That has not been done. It has not been placed on the other paper. And these are some of the things I want to point out to Councillor Williams. The signatures, there are 3 signatures from the political directorate and 3 from the administrative staff. And all 3 signatures from the political directorates are from the Jamaica Labour Party. And the by-election has somehow changes the circumstances in which that he no longer has that majority to do as he wish. And this is something which, again, we've still been advocating and lobbying for good sense to prevail.
For those who are just joining us, we're talking to Councillor Cian Barneswell of the Clarendon Municipal Corporation. You're the councillor for which division again, Comrade Barneswell?
His division in Southeast Clarendon.
His division, and he's also the MP candidate for
Southeast Clarendon.
Southeast Clarendon. One of my listeners, I don't know if you're seeing the comment on the screen, is saying that Councillor Barneswell, during the debate, both parties agreed to direct vote for all mayors. This will solve this problem you are now in. Well, this is future.
Good question. It's a good question the person asked. I don't remember the question who came up at the debate, but it's still a good question, because we have not as a local government practitioner, really look at the Portmore model. We have not gotten a chance to zoom in on it to find out that this Portmore model, which the people of Portmore ask for, if it is something that can be replicated in other parishes. It has not been yet assessed.
But
it has not yet.
Don't it was something that was looked at when we were talking about local government reform back in the late 90s and the early 2000s when Portmore came in. It was, I think it was something that was discussed when the PDCs was also bringing to the fore back then when they were looking at all municipalities to have direct elected mayors.
And Portmore was the pilot project.
Right.
Portmore was the pilot project. I think George Lee was the person who became mayor at the time. So it was a pilot project. So I'm saying that we have not yet assessed, do a study of it to see if it's something which is feasible and that can be implemented in other parishes. And to be told that there was consultation, I'm not sure, not the people of Portmore, that Portmore will now be a parish. I think it's really a disservice to the people. I think it's a slap in the people's face because they're the one who have asked for this municipality of Portmore, not the government of the day. The people asked for it through the respective citizen association. So for it to be taken away from them, it's really a slap in their face. What I suspect the government should have done was instead of sending their allocation to St. Catherine, it would have make funding directly available to the Portmore municipality, so they have greater autonomous over the expenditure than sending it to St. Catherine. St. Catherine now will send a percentage to them. So I think that is where the changes should have really been made, than just go ahead and say you're going to turn it into a parish without it having the features to become a parish, to get parish status.
So,
and the features are courthouse and general hospital and markets and you can name it a parish church.
Well, they have a tax. They have a tax office. So
yes.
One other thing, and I not really want to take it up here tonight, but where would be the capital of Portmore? But
that again too. That's another thing. That's another thing. Maybe Back Road.
No,
maybe
the
Back
capital.
Road.
The capital has to be Pines.
It
Portmore
has to be
Pines. Portmore Pines will have to be the capital.
Yes. That's where the commercial hub is. Yeah,
and
that's where the commercial.
That's where the tax office is, because I think a capital has to be a place where administration is done.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there are some features that determines that.
Yeah.
And how you get. Yeah. So there's a lot of things which is just.
Let's come back to Clarendon. What if Thursday the mayor insists that they are not going to move, as they've been saying, that they are the mayor, and if you want to do something, you have to take it to court?
Well, we have we have retained the services of Knight, Junior, and Samuels, and they have been looking at it. They have shared with us their opinion. That's the PNP councillors caucus in Clarendon have its caucus last week. We should be now having a Zoom meeting with our attorney to flesh out the pros and the cons as it relates to the direction of it. Right. But going to courts in Jamaica, sometimes it takes a long time. And so we need to find out how soon this court case will be. Will it be for 3 years? Will it be for 2 years? Will it happen in 1 year? Will it happen in 2 months? We don't know. So these are some questions we need to ask our attorney.
How you could get the court to give it priority.
Right. So we need to find out if we can able to get priorities from the court to see this, to look at this matter. So that is where we're at presently. So we just need to set that date now when we have that kind of face-to-face conversation, and that will help us. I think we need to do it very sooner than later. Soon meaning that in this month we now need to make a decision by going to the court fully to say, let's go to the court now. We are now ready to go to the court. So so these are some little loose ends which we need to tie up.
Right. So you are still hoping though that next week Thursday you may be able to come to some agreement to move the process. What if you are offered the deputy mayor and they keep the mayor? Is that something that you'd accept?
If they ask the PNP, one of the PNP council to be deputy mayor?
Yeah.
And well, it's something to have a conversation with the team, with the caucuses, with the caucus members rather. But I can't make that decision on my own. Something I've a discussion with members.
So it's something that could be discussed that way.
Yes,
Let's look at the upcoming general election. You're a candidate in the upcoming general election. How are your chances you're going up against who? Pernell Charles?
Pernell Charles, that's correct.
Pernell Charles Jr.
Junior.
The Minister of Labour. How
And
are your
Social
chances, Comrade Barneswell? You've been in that constituency for many years.
Yeah, the chances is good, I must tell you. We tested it in the parish council election. If we didn't feel a candidate late, like 3 months late, October, November, December, we would have maybe taken that division home. But nevertheless, we went out with 3 new candidates. I was the person piloting the ship. We would have won just 1 division out of 4. But when you look at the margin of defeat, with all the people in the GLP votes, we would have lost the constituency by 130 votes. Normally, when we finish a parish council election, numbers would have been greater. So that's an indication saying to us that the people are not satisfied with the current member of parliament, and they would have made their voices be heard even before the 2020 election. They would have voiced that they swapped black dog for monkey, using their words. Yes. They would have said that Roddy, the outgoing MP, was a better person, and they would have just listed their frustration. But that is their business, nevertheless. But we are now concentrating on doing our work, getting to know the voters. The voters know their candidate is, building out what needs to get done, so we prepare ourselves for any eventuality. So it's just a matter of us getting the work done. As I said before, this is my 5th election at the parish council level, and it will be my 2nd election at the national level. I ran in 2007, and I'm going again. So I cannot really have some.
You have been the mayor of the.
And I've been mayor for 4 years, right? So I've, and vice chairman within the region. So
what are some of the major issues in your constituency?
The major issues: bad roads, water, employment, and again, I see where security and safety pops its head up. So that's some concerns, but it's really bad road, water, persons need employment, and the housing stock is in a deplorable state. So those are some of the issues that we now need to deal with.
What are your plans for the people of the constituency?
Well, my plans for the people of the constituency is first that those areas in Moors, in Boyce Content, in section of Palmer's Cross, that the people are not complaining about water situation. We now need to look close with the Water Resource Authority to see where the aquifers are and what can we do to improve or to make good water for these people. Whether we need to put a big tank on the highest point within the northern part of the constituency, pump water from where we have the source and gravity feed to the area. So this is something we need to look at. We maybe need to look at how the other countries that also have the same situation like us, like in Africa and other areas, what are they doing and what have they done to improve it? So we now need to look at best practices that exist elsewhere that has the same challenges. As it relates to employment, we now need to provide what is called entertainment zone. And many persons shy away from this because they see it as noise abatement, but it's really an industry that reaps in billions of dollars to persons who are involved in it. I would now look at Southeast Clarendon as an entertainment hub where we can zone areas of parties, because that's how the people are now surviving in Southeast, having different little parties here and there. But if we can coordinate it and organize themselves, they're able to realize their true potential. We have a lot of wasteland or lands that are not being utilized that once used to be sugar lands. And since the Chinese bought the factory, and then close down shortly after and leave Southeast, it becomes poverty-stricken. So we need to look at how do we use these lands in form of agriculture, maybe greenhouse or otherwise, but get persons back in to feed themselves and to create for them their family. Bad bad roads. It's a maintenance thing again. So from the CDF, what I would do with consultation with the team is to put in a maintenance program in place. And if you can able to maintain roads each year, you'll find out that you're in a better position than wait until after 8-9 years to blame it on climate change and rainfall. So we need to look at that. We need to look at flooding that takes place in some areas. Bottom also where the soaker is not being clean. We need to look at Rocky Point. Rocky Point need a proper drainage that can be able to drain that community. It's embarrassing, it's a disgrace for a community as Rocky Point that has been supporting the Jamaica Labour Party since adult suffrage 1944. They are living in a state of squalor. And that is something which I think I need to address. We need to bring back to Rocky Point the economic livelihood that once exists. The regatta that we look forward to every Independence Day, every August 6th. These are some activities which we want to bring back, how we can be able to bring the fisher folks together into a corporation, into an organization, so that they can be able to package their fish right there and sell it and export it. So these are some stuff we're looking at. We have some tourism features. We have the bird watch place at the sea camp. We have the blue not drunk, I forget the Bullet Mountain, that we can also use as part of a nature trail as a heritage tourism. We have Salt River Spa, we have a hotel there in Salt River, we have Jackson Bay Beach that we can develop. And Jackson Bay, as I mentioned, Jackson Bay has a whole lot of potential, a lot of land there that we can also look at tourism if we want to expand and open up the southern part of the country to tourism. We have a dry dock where persons would have parked their yachts. And we can also look at that to have it as a place where we can repair them and dredge the area so we can have larger vessels coming in and have persons doing what you call yacht tour or go out to have parties and come back in. So it's a lot of potential. There's how you package it and how you market it, and that's able to bring economic support for Southeast.
How have you been getting this word out to the people of Southeast Clarendon?
It will be done through town hall meetings. It will be done through small meetings with farmers, with taxi operators, with citizens in community meetings and corner, we call it corner, and panic corner meetings, just have that conversation with them and hear some of their views also, which is also important to get a buy-in from them, because what I maybe look at need to be done in their space, maybe that's not what they think would be good for them. So hearing from them is also will be able to guide the discussion and how you plan for going forward.
So you have not started those town hall meetings as yet?
Yeah, we had the first town hall meeting last week, Thursday. Comrade Philip Palwell, the spokesperson on climate change and energy, was there. The energy was right. I don't know if because he's the spokesperson on energy and bring some energy there, but whichever, the energy was right. The people came out to the town hall meeting. It passed expectation. The 3 community visits we did to look at where those persons are living and need extension of Jamaica Public Service power supply, and they are not being able to get it. We look at another community which persons are squatting on SCJ lands, and they too has been living there for quite some time and need to upgrade and improve their power supply. So we're looking at those things because it's something which, when we form government, the People's National Party that is, we have to look at how do we make people life better, where persons are now living and call home. How can we make them not being land tenures? How can we make them not become owner of that place that they're now occupying instead of bulldozing them from it and they have nowhere else to live? So we now need to look at how do we regularize and structure the area and make it more friendly and security safe.
Canvas complete?
Ongoing. It's ongoing. Something you have to do. I have to keep monitoring because the enumeration is ongoing. It ends March of this year. So I have to keep monitoring the enumeration drive. So we would have some canvas results coming out of the parish council election. So what we are now doing is just trying to find those people we didn't find when we're doing the canvas for the parish council election and try to interact with those new voters who are coming on the list.
How many seats the PNP going to win in Clarendon?
I would say all 6.
All 6?
I would say all 6.
So you're going with Mike and... You're going with Mike and Rosito?
Based on what is happening there now with a tug of war between the 2 Williams, anything is possible. So I'm saying all candidates have a chance, and that's why I'm saying all 6.
Comrade Sian Barneswell we're talking to is the councillor of the East Division down there in Clarendon. And as I heard you said in the council that there's no minority leader.
No, there's not.
In the council because each side have 11 councillors. And you know, you're looking at next week Thursday to really have a proper discussion on the way forward.
Yes, very proper. It won't be one where the meeting called to order and by 10:30 you heard that it ended abrupt. We want to ensure that the meeting, people understand exactly what is it that we're asking for, and we'll be putting our arguments before and debate. It will be a debate session, so to speak. But that's all we really want it to be.
And the GLP agree with that?
Well, I will be talking again. They may not be, as well as they may. But I'm hoping for good sense to prevail.
Somebody's asking for land with code. Person say I'm a farmer with a lot of cows and doesn't have any land. Jeffrey, are you in Clarendon? I don't know if this person is in Clarendon, but how are the farmlands down there, Comrade Barneswell?
The lands are there, the farmlands are there, but it's just ownership is a problem. You have one man lease 50 acres, 30 acres, and they're doing nothing with it. So these farmers now, in terms of the cattle farmers, have no place to really have their animals to graze. And water is also a challenge too, because we no longer have the irrigation pumps in place. When the Chinese close their doors, persons dismantle or should I say vandalize those irrigation systems. They would have the well and the housing and the motors and the electrical features. So it's, I don't know who asked, who tell them to do it, why it was done, but I mean, this is something which I born in the era, grew up in the era, and would have seen being in use, water in the cane fields, whenever our domestic pump would have been down, person would have gone to these irrigation pumps to get water for domestic use, to wash clothes and to use in the bathroom. And now to see that all of these features are no longer there, all of these pumps are no longer in existence, it put more pressure on the NWC system, and the people are, really will find themselves in some hard times in terms of irrigation, in terms of helping themselves whenever the NWC system should go down. There was always a second. There's always the irrigation system which comes to our rescue. So irrigation is a challenge now in Southeast Clarendon and Southwest. Well, I see the government talking about some improvement in some agricultural land through irrigation, NIC, National Irrigation Commission. But Southeast Clarendon is where we're really having some serious problems. The land is there, but it's just the SCJ holding. And I mentioned SCJ holding because sometimes I really wonder if it's political decisions that they use to give and make lands available to person. Because I know persons who would have applied would have met the criteria, but because of their political affiliation, they have yet to get a 5-acre assistant. Right. So, this is something we need to look at. When we form government, we need to look back at SCJ holding, what they have been doing, how they lease these lands to the people. Who are these people who they lease the land to? And that's something we need to look at. We need to seriously look at it, and where persons have lands for years and not doing anything with it, we need to look at how do we regularize these lands and get it into production, and persons just have it to say them have land leased.
Security and safety down there in Clarendon, you mentioned that early out. Where are we with that, and what are your vision for your constituency as it relates to safety and citizen security?
All right, first, we need to ensure that the police have the tools and equipment to do the work. Presently, Longville Park Police Station does not have a motor vehicle. And Longville Park Police Station would have served not only Longville Park, but a section of Salt River, section of Sandy Bay, as far back as Rosewell, all the way back, maybe up to maybe Chateau Road, if I remember serves right. But it's really a wide area. And they
Chateau is in your constituency.
Part of it. The right hand side is going up north, is in southeast, and the left is in central.
They used to plant a lot of tobacco in Chateau. That still happen?
No, not anymore. Not anymore.
What those people do now?
Good question. I mean, they maybe just find whatever means. It's hard. They do all different kind of economic opportunity to survive. You know, maybe they sell whatever poultry, maybe raise pig, and they would sell the meat. They did do several different things to survive.
Well, let's come back to safety and citizen security.
Right. So Longville Park is without a police, without a unit, a vehicle. In the southern part now, we have challenges just the same. I'm not sure what complement of vehicle is at the Lioneltown police station. He is as a vehicle, which is good. But one of the challenges that we were promised to have a police post in Rocky Point. And to date, it has not yet been erected. And that would have better able to assist us in monitoring the South Coast from the illegal, importation of firearm, because the South Coast is where we gather that persons who would have known the sea would have gone to Haiti and come back in guns for drugs trade. So the police post was one of the area to be put in place in Rocky Point that will be better able to deal with that. It has not been done, and we have not heard anything about that. And you are
saying that you will get that done. You become the member of Parliament.
We will be having that conversation with Mr. Bunty when he becomes the Minister of National Security again. That is something we must put in place, because that will help monitoring the activities in the South. The police youth club, we need to expand on it. It used to be vibrant. There's a little null there, so we don't need to look at having police youth clubs set up across the communities in Southeast. We need to look at the community safety and security branch. They used to come to a citizen association meeting, to churches, and just interact with the people within. And that is something which I'll be asking that it continues and to improve. We need to look at abandoned buildings in some schemes, the housing schemes, where persons abandon their house, may it be death or divorce or whatever it is. But those are safe even for criminals. So we now need to look at, and again, this is where the parish council comes in, using legislation to bring about the changes that is needed as to how we take care of these abandoned properties. We now need to look at sports. Nothing like sports that unite people and bring peace in community.
I mentioned on the screen a while ago that a stadium was being built in Clarendon some time ago, and it stopped in the 80s. You know about that?
Oh, that's in Central Clarendon. That's Hazeldean. That's Hazeldean. That's
a
white.
Mike Henry have been one for about 45 years now.
That's Hazeldean. That's in Central Clarendon. That it should have been a stadium, and I'm not sure what happened with that. But I can't speak much about it. I have very little information. Okay. But no, we had some flare up, and I see where there's a curfew being imposed in Hayes, most of the community in Hayes division, and also in the Portland Cottage area of the Rocky Point division. The police would have said they're picking up some intelligence, and as a result, they are occupying the space to prevent any
flare up.
So I'm not sure exactly what is happening there in Hayes. I haven't seen anything or heard of anything, but again, they would have maybe picking up some intelligence, so they act to ensure that the citizens are safe. But it would have impacted on the livelihood of those persons who would have having their parties, because, as I said, because of no job opportunity, persons would have, it's like a pyramid scheme. So you have some money, you pull, everybody have money together, and it go around to everybody. So everybody get a piece of the pie where they have the different parties. So it would have impacted on their livelihood. But we were very resilient during COVID, where we keep the party in the daytime. Our persons would just be creative in terms of ensuring that they collect their partner draw and having them drink out. So I think they can be creative in having those parties during the time when the curfew would allow you to interact and to meet and to move around, because the police is having a zero tolerance when there's a curfew period between 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. So there should be no movement.
Yeah.
So so we have to give and take, because you would want to have a part, and next thing you know, somebody come there fire gunshot, somebody died, and you, the promoter, would feel so guilty that you didn't adhere to the laws that governs that. So there are some security issues, but the police seem to have their hands on it now. I must give them credit for that, and they're monitoring the spaces. So I must give them credit where that is concerned.
So if you're just joining us, listeners and viewers, you're watching Portland Spice TV. We're talking to Councillor Sian Barneswell of the East Division down there in Clarendon and the MP candidate for Northeast Clarendon. Did I get that right? Southeast Clarendon, the PNP candidate, looking forward to becoming the member of parliament down there. We're wrapping up with Councillor Barneswell. If anybody will have a one question, you can give us a quick call, 804-7072. We're not going to keep Councillor Barneswell much longer. Alison, I guess Alison is your daughter, right?
Yes, she is. She's getting restless.
Alison want daddy know, so you know that go. So, going once, going twice. Councillor Barneswell, anything you want to say finally as we wrap up this segment of the show?
Yeah, I just want to say to your viewers that they just need to be vigilant and they need to listen attentively. Now is the time where many promises will be made. Person talking about a third term is your term, but what about the terms before? Was your life any better over the last 8 to 9 years? And why do you think that it will be any better in the next 4 years to come? So let us look closely at what faces us. Let us look at corruption. Let us look at good governance. Let us look at transparency. Let us look at accountability. Let us look at leaders who are pristine, meaning that they have the people's interests at heart and their integrity is above reproach. And let that be the one that guides us as we look forward to in this upcoming general election and ensure that the People's National Party forms the next government that able to move us out of the quagmire that we found ourselves in. In 2011, the PNP rescued Jamaica from the financial precipice. And this time, the PNP is here again to rescue Jamaica, to make its brand what it used to be, that we once proud of, and remove it from this cloud of doubt and corruption that now hangs over this country. So again, thanks for your program in sensitizing and educating your viewers as it relates to what is happening in our country.
Councillor Barneswell, Comrade Barneswell, big up yourself, my brethren. All the best.
Thank you for having me.
We'll talk.
Yes,
One love.
All the best.
One love. Viewers, there you have it. Councillor Sian Barneswell. And if you're just joining us and you missed the parliament today, you need to see this. If you missed the parliament today, watch this.
Finally, Mr. Speaker, I want to raise to the attention of the Minister and the NWA. Portland has been receiving rain consistently from before Beryl.
Member. Yes, I turned the mic off because you're making a presentation and not question. So please, get to the question.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Just to say that the scoping of the SPARK program, and this is a question that was done months ago, has been thoroughly interfered with by weather events. And therefore, I'm asking whether or not we can look and discuss with the NWA the current situation in relation to probably prioritizing other roads that have been worse damaged as a result of the rain, rather than going with what obtained a year ago when we did the consultation. Remember, you haven't heard one thing I say, you know. Remember, I would prefer if you would give me the respect to listen to what I'm saying. It's a major point for me. And I'm saying, I'll repeat it again, that the scoping of the roads for SPARK with the weather events.
Mr. Speaker. I must say, Mr. Speaker, that I'm very disturbed and grieved. It is totally out of character for a minister to speak on a statement of another minister. I have never seen this in the umpteen years I've been here. totally breach of protocol for minister to ask next minister question in Parliament or to speak on the issue of another minister. Totally unacceptable and breach of protocol.
Minister Morgan, do you wish to respond?
I want to thank my colleague, Cabinet Minister, for raising those important points. And I want to say that to all members of the House, all 63 of you, Natalie, I want to say to all 63 members that I've always had an open door policy. I've always encouraged communications from the National Works Agency and all the agencies that I oversee as minister.
What can go so? I want to hear your views, people, on that clip there. I count 3 issues in that clip that to me no look good. For the speaker to cut off the man mic. So the speaker might want to say he's been fair. If a PNP MP was talking like that, maybe he would have muted mic. 804-7072. Welcome to Portland Spice TV.
Chuck up, you know, some day I want the program done early because some day upon the work, I get the show a little early, you know?
No, we're not finished. We're in the middle.
Okay. All right. What's on Chuck? You know more we don't have nothing in our legislation like where like the opposition or civil society group or nobody could have like move a motion or anything to like, you know, have the Prime Minister step aside. Like, cause you know, him have investigation and go on and him they intercept the investigation.
Well, no, we don't have no legislation like that in place. You can call for a vote of no confidence, but the Prime Minister presently with the majority that he has in the Parliament, it would go nowhere unless his side turn against him. But is there anyone over there? Is there anyone over there with any level of integrity or with any balls or any backbone who would stand up and say, no, this is untenable? I don't see that over there. I see everybody gathering around the Prime Minister, even those who not in him. But when you look, you know, you wonder what is happening really. What is really happening? But
because I remember some years ago, you know, the former premier for the Cayman Islands, you know, Makiva Bush, you know.
yes.
I remember him did misappropriate some government funding. I think him used to do some personal business, and him own party call out and said, no, him have to step aside.
Yeah, man. And,
you know,
and we have seen some of that over there in Britain as well.
Yeah.
But there's not one GLP who would be willing to stand up and say this is untenable. In fact, you have people out there like the Marlon Morgans and the Adka Fitzenley who are defending all kind of wrongs and corruption. Them nothing the government can't do nothing wrong. Anything at all that the government does, they defend it.
And Shaka, I know I don't know how often young comrade leader talking about one of the things that I really like to see, you know. Whenever time, because I not say if, you know, because I know it's a gun. Anytime Mr. Collin take office as the next PM, you know.
Yeah.
But I really like to see them get in some auditor, maybe from overseas, to come do a clean forensic audit, you know. Because I tell you, I feel corruption in such a place, brother. Place need auditing, man, some serious auditing. I mean, I talk about Mocan and FID, them, you know, because them come like them contaminated.
Let me tell you something, though. When the PNP takes office, it is going to be imperative for that kind of audit to be done, for us to say to the country, here is where we find it. These things have to be documented because, and even when it is documented, people try to lie, you know. Because when you look at what happened in the period between 2007 and 2011, and you have GLP trolls out there trying to mislead people. In fact, one of them told me the other night that the GLP did not get an IMF deal. When I told them that the GLP got an IMF deal in 2010 and lost it by early 2011, one lady tell me, say, I lie, them never get no IMF deal, not no go so. So with all of that and all that is documented of how Bruce Golding, Ardley Shaw, and later Andrew Holness crashed the economy, they are trying to lie about it. So when the PNP takes government this time, everything has to be documented properly. Proper audits have to be done. I mean, right now we know that the financial statements for over $3 trillion have not been submitted to the Auditor General, and the Auditor General is saying that where are these documents? So a lot of hanky-panky is happening. Whole heap of things where need to be brought to the fore that the public can see. Because right now they are telling us that the economy is doing well when we know that the economy is on the brink of a recession due to bad policy of this administration. So you're right.
Shaka, so let me ask you something. The SSL thing, the natural death, so like, it finished because it seemed like it finished. The case closed.
Hold on, you heard me play a clip a while ago? I played it twice. Did you hear it with the DPP?
No, I never get to hear it. No, I was going to say 2 minutes on the word, man. Don't
all right.
Catch on the program.
All right. Hang up and listen this. I'll go and play it for you again. Hang up and listen this. About right. SSL. It's not dead. Listen.
All right.
You see, it's a shame.
For breach of any of the environmental legislation will be taken over and prosecuted by a senior officer of the office of the DPP.
All right. Let me move on to something else, because last year in an interview with Nigel Clark, former finance minister, on his last day as finance minister, I'd asked him about the SSL case, and this is what he said. Let's listen in.
What I've not been satisfied with is the pace at which that has moved. Yeah, that, and the people of Jamaica don't differentiate. I am the person in the public light. I'm in the public domain, but I'm not responsible for all parts of the process. We have investigators, we have police, we have a DPP, we have courts, and all of those are independent authorities that I can't instruct. And I'm just, this is not a criticism, but this is just my heart. I have one opportunity now just to pour out my heart, and I feel hurt and disappointed, that I've, put that effort in, taken major risk, right, in getting forensic auditors from the United Kingdom to do a massive investigation. That file has been put to the DPP from late 2023, and nothing else kind of come of it. And people are looking and wondering, hey, what's going on? I've done my part.
And of course, that was former Finance Minister Nigel Clark speaking to me on all angles. And of course, from time to time, we see Usain Bolt tweet some of his characteristic trademark cryptic tweets with things like, for instance, the amount of money that was defrauded from him, and expressing impatience with the pace of the negotiation. I see my colleague and friend at the Gleaner, Jovan Johnson, got to you first on this DPP. So bad-minding him a little bit, but I'm still going to be asking you in terms of what's happening there.
Well, first of all, having listened to what Mr. Clark had to say, it's just so unfortunate that he didn't avail himself of speaking to us directly to find out exactly our side of it. Because I don't know who he got his information from, but we are aware at the DPP's office that perhaps due to an excess of enthusiasm or youthful exuberance, some of the investigators perhaps may have had some element of amnesia when they have been advising members of the public or even Mr. Clark as to what has been happening. In terms of the update that I received, there was a letter dated October 23rd, 2024 from my office. And remember, our SSL task force is headed by a deputy DPP who is in charge of our mutual legal assistance and financial crimes unit. You have 4 lawyers. It is an extremely voluminous exercise, and we sent a letter indicating all of the matters that were outstanding, that were required. It seems, and I'm going to say it quite clearly here, that there are some investigators or some persons there who thought that by waving a magic wand and just speaking it into being, they thought they had enough so that they could go before the court. But since we are the ones who are saddled with prosecuting cases of this nature to the requisite standing of beyond a reasonable doubt, and we are not into this thing to get a sound bite, we have to make sure, especially in a complex matter like this, that we have adequate information. And what I was informed now, I'm looking at it, by a letter dated December 30th from the FID, they answered the 12 points that we had sent to them about an update on the status of the 12 outstanding materials. Now, there is one that is absolutely critical. And what I've been made to understand, because I decided to drill down so that I'd be in the best position to respond to you, that we have been made aware that the investigators have had to go through hundreds of boxes of material from SSL to find the particular documentation. That is critical. We at the Office of the DPP have already prepared, well, my team has prepared a draft legal opinion with some 40 pages waiting for my sign-off. But they know how detailed and thorough I am. And they are also detailed and thorough. So there is a yawning gap, legally speaking, in the opinion that can only be covered by getting the critical documentation and report from the FID. And that is what we are waiting on. When they get that, then they will be able to properly complete the legal opinion of some 40 odd pages. They give it to me, and I can undertake that, having spent 40 years as a prosecutor and 16 as DPP, it's a question of case consultation. The 5 of us sit down, we go through everything, and hopefully overnight, by the next day, then a ruling will be had. But we will not die on the altar of expediency in order to give others a soundbite. We must be thorough. We answer to the public interest. And this is a complex matter. In fact, my deputy told me, and I said she's in charge of mutual legal assistance and financial crimes for the office, that they went ahead and did some research in the USA in terms of matters of a similar nature. And they found that the average in some areas is 5 years from the time the offense is committed to the time that it goes to court, given the level of thoroughness that is required.
So, you heard the DPP. You heard from the DPP. There is always a critical piece of evidence missing. She said that there's one critical piece that is missing. Jamaica needs to get its act together. While politicians form a fool of themselves, the people are suffering. Yes. And I don't hear people asking about bolt money no more. So I was really happy that caller asked about the SSL saga. One lady still in jail. Billions of dollars gone missing. Nigel Clark promised us FBI, but him disappear before the FBI come. Welcome to Portland Spice TV, 804-7072. Good evening.
Good evening, Shaka, and good evening to your rest of viewers and listeners. Hey, Shaka.
Yeah.
How many times we've seen that player from the DPP?
Well, that's what Sonia have been saying. There's always a critical piece missing.
Okay, but I want people to understand this. Or listen where I'm coming from.
Mm.
Why is the DPP waiting on FID, right? When the lead investigators in this case was Kroll, who already completed.
Kroll was the forensic people.
Okay, so I'm saying they were the forensic people who did the investigation and put files together and said it's complete.
No,
and give it to the.
Their aspect is complete based on the DPP.
All right, listen to me now, Shaka.
Yeah.
They are the ones who did the investigation. And they prepare a file.
Yes.
And the file states who needs to be charged and what went wrong.
How you know say that in the file?
Listen, Shaka, listen. Anytime we see something, these people who came to Jamaica to do those investigations, even if nothing is in the file to prosecute, right? They gave a file which indicates which way the DPP should sway. So I'm going to use this example. We've seen cases already where time has lapsed because the DPP allowed time to run out to prosecute public officials in government.
No, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. Which case is that you're referring to?
Okay. You see that lady from the JLP? What's her name? Grace McLean?
No, Grace McLean is not from the JLP, sir. Grace McLean was the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education.
Okay. Grace McLean, she let the time run out, right?
Well, it wouldn't be the DPP. It would be, you'd have to look at somewhere in the Ministry of Finance, between the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Education, who will allow that the statute of limitation to pass.
Hey, Shaka, Shaka.
Hold on. And if they want to charge her for fraud, the statute of limitation on that aspect of it is also running out this year. So I would blame the government, not the DPP, for that.
Hey, Shaka, I'm going to tell you why I blame the DPP, right?
Talk to me.
The DPP is the chief prosecutor in the country, right?
Yes.
And a lot of times we see the DPP, when she could allow people to prosecute case, she step in and take it over. I'm going to give you another example because we've seen this too many times. You see when Kentucky Kid was killed?
Yeah, that DJ there.
The coroner and the person who do the forensic, the expert now, tell the DPP and tell Jamaica, say, no, this is murder. What the DPP say? She overruled the people who is experts in that field. Let's drag the memory again. With the Vibes Cartel case again.
Yeah.
When the phone tampering and all those things go down, the DPP again, even when them say send the phone come, she said no. So Shaka, I am tired of these people conveniently saying things, and if you listen to her now, Shaka, she's talking up bagger, go round and come round, you know. And our track record is not pretty, you know.
Talk to me.
Our track record is not pretty. If you want to go and look now, let's look at the Andrew Holness case.
Which one?
Where
the case that is going with the IC?
Not that one. The same case that is going with the IC. But if you look at, there's so many instances in that case where she could charge him, and she don't charge him. like for example, she could charge him for the misuse of the funds for the charity, you know, because that's not a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah.
She could step in and charge him when him, since as the lady were in at the IC office don't want to charge him, she could have step in and charge him 3 years straight for misfiling. She could have used the same FID and financial expert and charged the Prime Minister when them discover how many contract him give to himself in 2010 and beyond.
Well, on that one, and a lot of people keep forgetting that the first time that the director of investigation referred a file on the Prime Minister to the director of corruption prosecution, on the first and the second count, the director of corruption prosecution said that she found enough to charge the Prime Minister. However, because of the passage of time, she decided not to charge him. A lot of people don't remember that, my brethren.
Yeah, but but this is the thing.
And I do agree with you on that case that the DPP could take it up and charge him.
But look at this, Shaka. Look at this now, and I want Jamaica to understand. When them talk about the passage of time, is it the passage of time from when the crime was committed, or the passage of time from when the crime was brought to the public?
All right, on the one that I just mentioned, there is no statute of limitation on it. However, what the director of corruption prosecution was saying, because so many time had elapsed, she don't know if she could have find the witness, and maybe people that said them no member, and then maybe the court would have throw it out. That was her excuse. So it wasn't really a statute of limitation on it. It was just...
But Shaka, again, these people are playing with us as Jamaicans. When the evidence is there, it's in the logbook to show up the contracts that the man give to himself. You don't need witness because the statement is there.
I believe she should have charged him.
And if we go further and look again, even with the 20th bank account, you have one of the account where money is being transferred from wholeness to him father, and him saying no know nothing about the account, and them let him off again.
Well, the director of corruption prosecution said she did not find enough on that one to charge him.
Hey Shaka, you know what I see going on? You can charge somebody below a crossroad with circumstantial evidence.
Oh yeah.
Go and make up a case. Not only that, you don't have a strong case, and you will lock up the ghetto youth them in jail.
No, you don't.
And drag on till you find a case. But you don't want to the politicians.
You don't have to charge. You don't have to charge the ghetto youth. You lock up the ghetto youth, and then you go look for something to charge him for. You don't have to have
exactly.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yes. I'm agreeing with you. Totally agree with you.
You don't have the case. You don't have all the file, but you lock him up, and then you keep on put off him case.
You talk about all the file.
No bail.
You don't have no file, you lock him up, and you don't have no file, and then when you let him out, him sue the government, and you and I have to pay the costs.
That's exactly. Just like today, did you watch that thing with the Integrity Commission Oversight Committee?
I was watching some of it, but I was doing something. What did I miss? Because I was watching it.
Boy, Shaka, let me tell you, Jamaica really in a problem, When I say Jamaica really in a problem, first thing I'm going to say this publicly. Why is it we have a DPP and we need a prosecutor, right, in the IC office?
All right, because why they did that? Because when you used to have the contractor general, you remember that time when Greg Christie was the man running everything?
Yeah, I remember that.
All right, so everything Greg Christie had to submit to the DPP. With the new Integrity Commission, they said, you know what? Let's give them their own prosecution so that they don't have to go to the DPP. They can prosecute from there. However, the DPP is the ultimate prosecutor, So even if the director of corruption prosecution decide that she not prosecuting, the DPP can go ahead and prosecute. And vice versa. If the director of corruption prosecution says she go and prosecute, the DPP can step in and throw it out to you know.
Okay, well, this is where they muddy up the water. They muddy up the water. Why not allow the corruption prosecutor to make all the prosecution? Because what I see happening today now is that they are saying that the man who do the investigation, he's not supposed to say, oh, go ahead and prosecute, because what I have found, just like when the police lock up a youth on the street and the police say, me feel so you broke the law. The police now refer the case to the DPP and say, all right, you decide if you're going to charge him.
The police just go ahead and charge. However, as you're right, there are some people, there are some cases that the police have to refer to the DPP if they should charge. Or if they have enough.
I understand that, but if you notice, those cases are the ones where the police don't have enough evidence. But if the evidence, if it walk like a duck, it quack like a duck. So you go to school, you do your studies, you as the police have the right to go and charge any one of them like one would charge anybody.
Yeah,
you know
man.
What coming at the news? You know what coming at the news today? Them find one imitation gun and 4 people them lock up, you know.
Yeah. They found it in a man's waistband. I don't know if they lock up all of them, but the news said that they took the 4 of them to the station for processing.
But look at it. Even if they don't lock them up, they took them to the station.
Yes. Yes.
And you're telling me we've seen instances such as such man who was such man liar. One dead in his house.
You're talking about Patrick Bailey, who used to be the lawyer for the Prime Minister.
Such man.
We can't say that that's a fact. We can't
say it. But I'm saying, look at it, you know. They didn't charge that man.
Him don't even go down a station. Him don't even go down a station. Remember, you know.
Look how many times him get where, you know. Him get 2 years ago, you know. When a young lady must ask him to sell a car or import something, and him steal her 16,000 US or 20,000 US.
I don't know about that case. I don't know about that one there. But are you aware that he has been disbarred?
No, but that's what I'm leading to. He was disbarred, but they did him a favor.
When you have big friends, you get favor, brother. We lost the caller.
By charge. So I don't understand that. Just like for the FID, most of the agencies that Jamaica having not working. The FID, the MOCA, the FID, they're not working.
One of the questions we need to ask though is that the IC forward the case to the FID and to TAJ. Where are they on those investigations? The man never paid the taxes. Where is the TAJ on that? And the FID?
But that's what I'm saying. Put a charge upon the man, and they don't put a charge because if he had in taxes, okay, we're going to give you say the $460-something million, Andrew, you earn it. But where is the taxes on the $460-something million?
My brother, give her thanks. The lawmakers are acting as the biggest lawbreakers. Thanks for the call.
No, you're welcome, brother.
Blessings, man. 804-7072. Give me a call. Whole heap of things to talk about. I have another clip I want to play for the item. We've been talking about food security on this program at nausea. Long time from 2020. Me I warn this country about food security. From 2020 when COVID hit, I made a post on Facebook. I think the post was made on the 14th of April 2020. I said to the government of Jamaica, invest $1.4 billion in agriculture to shore up our food security. Here is a research I want to play for you. Listen to this, my people.
Has revealed that 55.1% of Jamaica's population experienced moderate to severe food insecurity from 2021 to 2023. The report released yesterday said this finding places Jamaica among the Caribbean countries with high food insecurity prevalence. The 2024 Regional Overview of Food Security and Nutrition in Latin America and the Caribbean was published in collaboration with several organizations. In the United States, spelling trouble for several countries in security prevalence. The 2024 Regional Overview of Food Security and Nutrition in Latin America and the Caribbean was published in collaboration with several organizations. The report said in 2022, approximately 22.1% of Jamaica's population could not afford a healthy diet. It said this is one of the lowest proportions in the Caribbean. In relation to child malnutrition, the report said the prevalence of wasting or low weight for height among children under 5 years in the country was 3.2%, which is close to the global target of below 3%. It also said between 2012 and 2022, Jamaica managed to reduce the prevalence of overweight among children under 5 by 1.2 percentage points. The cost of a healthy diet was another area examined in the report, which found that Jamaica has one of the highest costs of a healthy diet in the region, estimated at 6.42 purchasing power parity dollars per person per day in 2022. This represents a significant increase from previous years, aligning with the general trend across the Caribbean. The country was also categorized as a net importer of agri-food products, making it vulnerable to global food supply disruptions caused by climate vulnerabilities and extremities.
You see, I've been telling the item. I have been telling you all that food security is a problem in Jamaica. We're not feeding ourselves, and then we're eating a lot of what left, a lot of garbage, a lot of what they are dumping, and we're destroying our farmers. And we heard labor rights come out against Dayton Campbell because Dayton said put on a little thing upon the import. I don't know if you're not following what is happening in America. Trump decided to put on tariff on importations from other country. US aid that gives Jamaica so much money. Trump put a pause upon it. It is time now for a Michael Manley style government. It is time now for Jamaicans to feed ourselves. It is time now for Jamaicans to start producing more. It is time now for the culture and the creative industry to move to the front of our production. Investment in the orange economy is now critical. So hear me, people. Our farmers need to get pride of place. In every developed country, the government subsidize agriculture. Because God forbid that another pandemic hit and food cannot come to Jamaica the way it come. We must be able to live. That's what we've been saying to people. And that's why I tell people that Michael Manley is a man before his time. Eat what you grow what you eat. And where you can't eat off, you export the rest. We must have storage. Remember in the Bible, I think it was in Exodus, with the vision of the 7 mager calves and the 7 fat calves. So you must store for rainy day. you must store for drought. And if we're not doing that, we have a problem. Agriculture is down by 12.5% in comparison to last year. And they are blaming it on Beryl. And what I said to the government is that you cannot blame it on Beryl when you gave away $11.4 billion that should rebuild our agriculture industry, that should set our farmers on solid ground. But instead, you give it away to buy vote, $20,000 per person. I am not afraid to say it, that I dash with the money. There also must be an audit to find out how that money is spent. But I don't hear nobody talking about the other 20,000 that was promised by the Prime Minister at conference. Remember, the Prime Minister at conference said people who are not in the tax net, he's going to give them 20,000. We see the Prime Minister giving every member of Parliament $5 million to assist with people fixing their roofs. I don't understand how we're doing all these handouts while on the brink of a recession. Is it that we are closer to an election than we are thinking? Because things not going to get no better right now, you know. I see Marlon Morgan come here Saturday morning with him all up a spin. And I'm saying to any GLP who go and call me now, you need to call me and tell me what it is that this Andrew Holness-led administration is going to do to grow the Jamaican economy. We know about all of your corruption. And I don't want to discuss that with no labor right. Because their government can't do nothing wrong. Tell me a lie of how you're going to grow the economy. Because for 9 years, I have not heard any plans. All of my listeners and my viewers, you know how long I have been calling for school bus services in the rural areas. I'm now seeing where the government is putting JUTC buses on routes outside of Kingston. Bus start run from Castleton. I want to warn Darrell Vaz about the size bus you're putting in the junction, sir. You know the junction just like I do. And the size bus that you're putting in the junction might cause more trouble than anything else. Yeah? And I don't know how the taxi operators go and manage. They have sent JUTC bus to Morant Bay. And I hear the coaster operators, they are bawling blue murder right now. Screaming at the top of their lungs that they suffered on the bad roads while the road was under construction. And as the road fixed now, and it's time for them to recuperate, the government put JUTC bus in Morant Bay. Let me say this clear. What the government is doing right now is not sustainable. And I tell you why. Right now, JUTC rolling out way under 300 buses per day. The KSAMC, where the JUTC originally runs, in 2016, they had 460 buses moving people. Last check I can remember, they have about 240 buses. And they're stretching it When you go to Kingston, gridlock kill you. You can't move around Kingston. The traffic stand up. And I tell somebody the other day, when I was a young man going to school in Kingston, I used to travel. When you get to Temple Hall and them places, you see a big crowd that wait for bus. We start seeing that again. It's getting a little less now, but of course, as we say, I do it. So, this government don't have a clue of how to run the country. They are focusing on paying down the debt faster than is required, so as to bring down the debt to GDP. But while they're doing that, we see now them have to find $40 billion to fix the road because the road maintenance fund was used to do different things and the road was not been maintained. We see them have to dig out big money now because the JUTC was not being maintained, so they had to buy 100 bus one time. And I'm still going to buy an next 100. Because when them did for replace 5 and 10 and 20, none of that was done. Thank you, sir. The KMTR. That's what I meant to say. Thank you very much. So, we're in serious problem. Jamaica is a total failure. As Minister of Agriculture, Floyd Green, was in the Parliament talking all kind of foolishness about what is going to do while the sector is in trouble after 9 years. Now that's the problem. You took 9 years for yourself. That's what they did, you know. Took 9 years for themselves, and they are now saying that the third term is for the people. But that's not what Darrell said. Darrell said that the third term, him wanted for him children, and him grandchildren. So who is telling the truth? And there's trouble in the house. We're wrapping up the program, but I have to play this phone again. So who just joining and never see this way happening at the Parliament today? There is trouble in the house. There's some level of disrespect to Mr. Portland. Somebody I tried this, Mr. Portland. We want to know who I tried this. The Portland boss. What is the man? Listen.
Finally, Mr. Speaker, I want to raise to the attention of the Minister and the NWA. Portland has been receiving rain consistently from before Beryl.
Member.
Oh, the Speaker of the House for lock off the mic for Mr. Portland.
Yes, I turned the mic off because you're making a presentation and not question. So please, get to the question.
Please. Yeah. Thank you very much. Just to say that the scoping of the SPARK program, and this is a question that was done months ago, has been thoroughly interfered with by weather events. And therefore, I'm asking whether or not we can look and discuss with the NWA the current situation in relation to probably prioritizing other roads that have been worse damaged as a result of the rain, rather than going with what obtained a year ago when we did the consultation. Remember, you haven't heard one thing I say, you know. Remember, I would prefer if you would give me the respect to listen to what I'm saying. It's a major point for me.
So the Minister of Works disrespect Mr. Portland. Now listen to the man. That's Mr. Portland. I feel beg little respect. Eh? Minister?
Obtained a year ago when we did the consultation. Remember, you haven't heard one thing I say, you know. Remember, I would prefer if you would give me the respect to listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's a major point for me.
Of course.
And I'm saying, I'll repeat it again, that the scoping of the roads for SPARK with the weather events.
No.
Mr. Speaker.
Here this a ranking
I must
one,
say,
you know.
Mr. Speaker, that I'm very disturbed and grieved. It is totally out of character for a minister to speak on a statement with another minister. I have never seen this in the umpteen years I've been here. Totally breach of protocol for a minister to ask next minister a question in Parliament or to speak on an issue of another minister. Totally unacceptable and breach of protocol.
So y'all tell me now, say. Y'all tell me, say, Warmington couldn't wait till him come out of the Parliament. Him call the man one side and say, no, do that again. That's a breach of protocol. You embarrass the man in the Parliament in front of everybody, so. Something not right. This them are this Portland boss. Idiot thing that. Or them fear dismiss a Portland. Eh? What kind of rubbish that? This, where name Morgan, the man attack. Obviously, Morgan a chat to somebody else and now pay the man no mind. That's why the man officer minister, you know, you're not what me say. I mean, want you respect me and listen to what me I say. This one or this the Portland boss. Idiot thing that. But what it said to me is not all is well. Everything not good over there. Because you hear what Warmington say? This never happened yet. A cabinet minister question an ex-cabinet minister in the Parliament. Something not right. Something not right. The speaker lack of a ranking member, Mike. Hey. I know me say something just commentate upon what me see. I'm just commentating on what I've seen. But let's listen nationwide tomorrow morning and see if they say anything about it. Because we see the whole ALGAJ thing blow up. And we see them blowing up Lawrence Rowe. But we still not hear who chop Bell Nevis in our head yet. Who chop Bell Nevis? If it was a PNP councillor get chopped in her head, they would have known. But nobody don't know who chop Bell Nevis. Who shoot the man who get shot? Who shoot the man who get shot near to the mayor house? Man of them fine with gunshot wound. Has anybody been charged? Has anybody been charged? Or it going go down like another Patrick Bailey case? Jamaica, wake up. Wake up. Injustice to one is injustice to all. States of emergency in St. Catherine. So the PNP meeting ended early. They had to cut Comrade Crawford's speech, and the Comrade leader had to cut his speech because curfew down there in St. Catherine. What happened to proximity policing? Yes, my people. It has been another Tuesday night. They are fighting. The next term is for the people. Marky G will be Prime Minister in the next term for the people. Them right, the next term is the people's term because the PNP put people first. And we are going to look after the people. We are going to create wealth in this country. We're going to look after the farmers and ensure that we cut that food importation bill. You must cut the food importation bill. And we're going to look after the people in the culture and the creative industry. We're going to use our creatives to turn our culture into entertainment and export it to the world and create wealth for our people. This has been another Collin Bell show. We do it every Tuesday night. Saturday morning is Talk to Me. We thank you for joining us. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to Portland Spice TV. We're heading to 4,000 subscribers. Help us get there. Send the link for the channel to 10 somebody in your contact. And make we build Portland Spice TV. Reggae girl, big up yourself. Which one of the reggae girl this? Blessings and thanks for the comment. So, share up the channel for me. Like up the video. And subscribe if you have not yet subscribed. Tell everybody about it. That we come on a Tuesday night and a Saturday morning. And we speak the truth where God love. Yeah, man. Bless upon yourself. One love to the people. May the good Lord continue to bless and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his light and give you his peace, now and forevermore. Until we meet again, Saturday morning. Big up on yourself. One love.